Hey, how are you? I want to talk to you a little bit about this table of planetary rulerships. In our study of the planets and the zodiac signs, we've learned what planets are in their domicile, exaltation, or fall or depression. Fall can also be called adversity. So, this is a table of a lot of information for you, and at first it may seem overwhelming. We're just going to talk about domicile, exaltation, adversity, or fall and depression at this point. There's other things that we will learn about going forward. But when you're looking at a planet that is inside a house in your chart, you need to figure out what its dignity is, what its essential dignity is. Is it good, bad, not good, not bad, somewhere in between? This chart will help you do that. So I'm going to go over what the different titles mean. So let's start with domicile. If we look to the top of this chart, we see the signs of the zodiac. And then next to that, we see domicile. And then the next column is exaltation. If we go all the way over to the very right, we see depression and we see adversity. Adversity is also called its fall. So it's one and the same. Okay, back over to the left side here. We've got Aries, and we look to the columns to the right. We see that Mars is in its domicile in Aries. We've learned this. Mars rules Aries. We see that the sun is exalted in Aries. And scooting over to the right, we see that Venus is in fall in Aries, and Saturn is in its depression in Aries. But what does domicile mean exactly? When you have a planet in domicile, the planet is at the strongest level of its essential dignity. You'll hear the word essential dignity a lot when astrologers analyze a chart. It just means like its best what condition is it in? Its best condition where it belongs would be a strong level of essential dignity. When a planet is in its domicile, as Mars is in Aries, then it's like he's like the king in his castle, a planet that's essentially dignified by being in its domicile, has all of the strength and the power that it needs to fulfill the duties strongly within the chart. So in the case of Aries, we've got Mars is able to be Mars and deliver what Mars is known to deliver when it's in the sign of Aries in a person's chart. It's in its domicile. If you have the sun in Aries in a chart, it's exalted. And what is exaltation? Well, when a planet is in exaltation, it's like, according to Michael Bryan, who's a traditional astrologer, it's like a proud and haughty man assuming more of himself than is his rightful due. A planet in its exaltation is like a person who believes that they are all that and a bag of chips, someone who's not really as powerful as they think they are, but yet they are powerful because they're being exalted. And now over there to fall and depression. When a planet is in its fall or depression, it doesn't have the power that it would have if it was in its domicile. And so it really is almost struggling to bring forth any of its indications. And adversity or fall, it's struggling somewhat, but when it's in its depression, it's barely alive, barely able to function. Think about it. Think of Saturn over there in its depression. Saturn thrives in a Capricorn or Aquarius type environment. Saturn is a cold planet and doesn't do well in Aries, which is a fire sign and a heated zodiac sign. So it really kind of gives you an idea of what a planet in depression is like. And you can just scroll down through all the different zodiac signs. We see Taurus. Taurus, Venus is in its domicile in Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus. Mars is in its fall, and there's no planet in depression in Taurus. These are things you really should learn. It will help you quickly analyze a planet when you first see it. Now let's go back to the top of the table. Very top left, we have signs of the zodiac, domicile, exaltation, triplicity lords, bounds and terms, decan and faces. Let's go back to triplicity lords. The ancients assigned a planet to each triplicity. The triplicities are fire, earth, air, and water. We'll learn about this, but basically, if you have a day chart, the triplicity for Aries is first going to be the Sun, and then Jupiter, and then Saturn cooperating. And it's too much to explain right now, but this also will add a layer of understanding to a planet that's in a zodiac sign. We have bounds and terms. This is telling you that if you have a planet in the sign of Aries in these different degrees, 6, 12, between these degrees, between 0 and 6, 6 and 12, and 12 and 20, if it is one of the planets that is showing here, you're going to have a layer of positive outcomes for the planet, little help. And decan and faces is another thing that will add more of an understanding to analyzing a planet, but we'll learn about that later. But there are some astrologers, very well-respected astrologers, that say when a planet is in its fall or depression, it really isn't going to get much help from any of these other bounds or decans or triplicity lords. It's not going to get much because it's just struggling so bad. It can't really be helped that much. So what happens if you were born with a planet in fall or in detriment, and it's the ruling planet of your ascendant, which is really the course, the guiding planet of your life, and wherever that planet is, whatever house it's in, that's the direction your life is moving in the direction of where that planet has landed. Well, it means that it may be an area that you have to work a little harder at, or a place in your life where you have to overcome some struggles. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, meeting adversity with dignity and working through it to become successful or to turn it into something successful really builds a strong character. And possibly that's the whole reason why you came into this incarnation with planets in detriment or in fall. These are areas of your life that you need to work on, and once you figure out what you need to learn, you benefit from these planets. That's what I personally believe, and I found that to be true in my life. Anyway, I hope this is a little more useful information for you, and it was nice chatting about this. Bye.